All right, y'all. What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of your favorite WMMA podcast. Hashtag CB99 Talks, episode 210. Decided to jump on today or tonight because I'm going to be kind of busy the rest of this week again. So, yeah, let's jump into some Bantamweight talk for tonight. Just wanted to pull some stuff up here because there's a few things I just wanted to talk about, as far as Bantamweight goes, man, because there's a lot of things going on about this Kayla Harrison, Amanda Nunes fight. Also, I just want to talk a little bit about some of the new signups, the new recruits in the bantamweight division as well. And I see this Instagram going around with, Ronda Rousey hitting the pads, and now everybody thinking, she's making a comeback to the sport of MMA. And yeah, everybody's been talking about that too on IG. So yeah, I just wanted to jump on and talk about a few bantamweight topics and whatever else comes up if I have time. So I ain't gonna be on here too long tonight because it is Sunday and I am just chilling out. But yeah, I just wanted to jump on for a little bit. What's up, Stamina? What's going on? Yeah, there was no fights this week. I mean, there was a lot of underground fights. Let me see. There was Octagon. I think Octagon came on. I don't know if some of y'all watched that. Octagon is that an Eastern European organization. They got a lot of like Slovakian fights, Czech Republic, and all of that. And, like fighters out of Germany fight there. It's hard to watch those cards because I think some of them are pay-per-view, and I'm not really paying pay-per-view for some of those. I wish they would just show them on YouTube. Some of that stuff just needs to go on Amazon Prime or YouTube for real. Like, we always have to pay out for these different, apps and so on. So I just wanted to see that, like a regular live stream somewhere. But yeah, what's up, y'all? Yeah, first I just wanted to kind of talk about, Amanda Nunes and Kayla Harrison. Overall, I don't know, Stamina, how you feel about this fight. Me, really, I think it would be a good fight, like I said, but I can take it or leave it because I don't really think Amanda has much to prove at this point. Like Amanda's already done so much. Amanda's done well over enough to just stay away from the game now. She could just come in. She's already came in, did her thing, but now she just wants to come back in and try again and, try to get that belt back. But I'm like, let these other girls do their thing. That's how I see it, right? Because Kayla was kind of making it sound like from Amanda's side, like they haven't really reached the deal yet. I know Amanda's in the testing pool and everything, so at this point, I guess we're just waiting on seeing what she's gonna do, right? All right, B just said he's driving and listening. All right, make sure you just drive and listen. Don't drive and text. All right, let me see. Let me pull up Amanda's IG. That's what I wanted to do. All right, I want to pull up her IG because I want to see if she's been posting a lot of training. I know she was posting a lot of training like before she stepped into the cage to face off, right? Let me see. Mostly family time stuff. August 22nd. That was like a month ago. She posted some work. She posted her getting some work in. But other than that, I don't see a great deal. Just mostly family stuff. So I don't know. Like, I guess she's getting ready. I guess she's supposedly, getting ready now, right? But yeah, 2B said he's listening to or driving and listening. Yeah, okay. Be safe while you're driving. Yeah, so to me, I'll take it or leave it at this point. I don't really feel like, oh, this is something I need to see. If it happens, it happens. Okay. But yeah, Kayla, she's open, man. Like I just did the video earlier. Kayla's open and she's opening up to fighting any other fighter right now. But it's not like we got a great deal of like worthy contenders at the top, right? But that's why I was saying, man, like, for real, they should have just lined up Norma as close as possible to get the title shot. Because that's the fight I really want to see. I really want to see Kayla and Norma. Like, I wanted to see Kayla and Norma in a title eliminator, but this is even better now. Like, if you could do Norma and Kayla right now, that would be great. You know, Norma's number 4. Ketlin's already fought Kayla, so no, I mean, Rocky, she's injured, right? And she just lost to Pena. You know, Pena, I don't know what mindset Pena's in anymore. I guess Pena might be on her way out. As I was, listening to her last interview, she just didn't seem like the same Pena at this moment. So yeah, really, there's nobody else. But I guess like Kayla's starting to feel that need to get in the cage again. As far as how she was talking, she sounds like somebody that wants to get back in the cage as soon as possible, because she said, look, if the UFC doesn't give her a date yet, she's ready to, call out one of these other contenders, ask for somebody else. And hey, I agree with that. Stamina said, I'll watch. Not quite appointment TV. Yeah. It's not something like I know you want to go out of the way for, but hey, if it comes on, yeah, I'm going to watch it. He said, I'd be happier if they had abandoned the script and compete at featherweight just for their respective health, but that's just me. Yeah. If it wasn't all about the belt, and they didn't want to just go through that whole motion, I think at 145, it would definitely be a lot more competitive. But when you got Amanda Nunes, that's another thing too, man. Like, yeah, the fight on paper, it looks exciting. But then, yeah, when you're thinking of the fighters, I'm talking about big fighters. Kayla's not small. That's why I posted this picture of Kayla, because look at the size of Kayla. And same thing with Amanda. Like, Amanda's not as muscular, but Amanda's not a small woman either. So when you look at both of these fighters, I'm like, like, are they going to make 135 easy? Amanda's been out 2 years. I know she's been walking around, a little smaller and, trying to show out the data like, hey, I'm close to weight. I can do this. And I know Kayla's drained herself down, 3 times now for bantamweight. But it's rough, man. It's rough making those weights. And it hasn't been easy for Kayla. I mean, one time she's had to go to the emergency room, right? So to me, that is something. I agree with Stamina on that. Like, that is something that would make the fight a little scarier. And, not to be negative, but that is something I could see happening at that point. Like, say if the fight was scheduled and, everything went down smooth all the way up to the weigh-in, I could see somebody either passing out or having to go to the ER like that, So yeah, 145 would make it a lot more interesting. It would make it a lot more interesting, But yeah, Kayla was saying here that, she wants to be an active champion, because she don't want to hold anybody else back, which, yeah, again, I agree with. But yeah, really, there's really nobody at the top now that I just pull up the rankings, and that's what I was looking at earlier. I could just really focus on Norma and even Eileen. Like, I think Eileen Perez has won like a few fights, like 5 in a row as well. But that would just be more for show, I think, just because she's been talking trash, just to go ahead and get her in there and see what she could do, just to, put on like an entertaining type of fight. But I don't think she's like this huge threat to Kayla Harrison. Eileen Perez is like, yeah, she's won 5 in a row now. But I think, Norma's 5 in a row is a little bit more deeper, let's see. Eileen Perez has beaten Ashley Evans, Smith, Pudilova, Jocelyn Edwards, Zalesnikova, and Carol Rosa, right? So, yeah, a couple of those names are just good for experience. But, yeah, I wouldn't really say, like, that's title shot worthy either. And then, again, when I just look at the top, okay, Macy Chiasson, she lost to Ketlin. Really, it's just Norma. And then they got Norma scheduled to fight Ketlin in November. So, shoot, to me, I'm saying, hey, if a man ain't ready, shoot, yeah, scrap that Norma and Ketlin fight, and let's make Kayla versus Norma. That would be the fight to close out the year. Shoot, I was hoping they could do that, since Amanda just came back, you know, um, let her wait till like the beginning of next year or something, like during the spring, and let Norma have this shot, because I think Norma would have been full on ready, and Norma pretty much is ready in my opinion. I mean, girl hadn't fought in like over a year now. What was the last fight? Irene Aldana, and then she was got to wait a whole year to fight Rocky, but now Rocky pulls out, and now what does she do? She's got a Rocky pulls out, and now Norma has to wait. So it's like, oh man, been out what, 14 months. Perez can't be getting no shine just for talking greasy. I can't find it in me to value that sort of nonsense. He said, send in Big Norma. Yeah, let's put Big Norma in there. Let's do it, man. That's what I want to see at this point. But hopefully they make this thing happen. I mean, yeah, I know the champions just fought, 3 months ago, but still, shoot, Valentina and Zhang Wei Li are scheduled to go, for November. So I'm ready to see this thing scheduled by December. I don't know if they're trying to do the whole White House thing or what. I mean, me personally, I don't really want to see a fight in the White House. It's crazy, man. Like, fight in the White House. I guess they're gonna do it though. I guess they're gonna do it. I personally don't want to see it, but if they make it happen, hey, whatever. But yeah, that's really my take on that. I just wanted to see what y'all think. Yeah, Norma's like really the only one, What I really want to talk about is a few of these new bantamweights that we got signed. And of course, we just seen one of them fight, not this past weekend, but last weekend, so I can educate some of y'all and fill y'all in. Same as if I talk. Hey, if you talk, I guess we'll listen, right? All right. So these are some of the new bantamweights that have been signed. And no, this is not a quadruple threat. All right. This is not a quadruple threat. We're just talking about some of the new heads that have been signed to bantamweight. Okay. And in case if y'all haven't heard of some of them, I'm just trying to educate y'all. All of them have been scheduled to fight. Of course, one of them has already had their fight, and we've already turned in our report cards on that one, right? We can give our progress report on one of the fighters here, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about. We can already say what needs to be said. Not trying to be mean, but hey. So yeah, all four of these fighters been scheduled to fight. One of them's already fought. So got to tune in to some of these new girls that are coming in. Been watching Michelle Montague coming over from Bellator and PFL. Big finisher, solid grappler, big, strong, all finishes. I mean, I think all her finishes are by submission. Let me go ahead and pull up her resume. Yeah, let me do that while I'm talking like this. That's the only way I can make sure I'm steering y'all right. But before I do that, let me see. BJ said bantamweight quad threat. No, sir. Not yet. Not yet. Yeah, put your hands on the wheel, BJ, and just listen. Not yet. This ain't no quadruple threat. We just seeing what they offer right now. Yeah, BJ. Yeah, Eileen Perez she's legit in the cage. She may talk junk and even do some stupid things in the cage after a fight, but she's legit as far as growing. Like, I see development from her as a fighter. Like, no, she's not a contender yet to me, but she is getting better as a fighter. She has gotten better than she's looking better than her debut. I give you that. Like, every fight, she's looking better. Like, her stand-up game's looking better. Her stand-up game is, better. So I give her credit on that. Like, she's not all just Twitter and twerking. So I'm not a fan, but I won't take away her work ethic. Okay. I won't bash her work ethic like that. All right. So yeah, these four fighters right here have been recently signed to the bantamweight division because, hey, the bantamweight division needs fighters right now. They do. They knew some new heads, and a few of these fighters, I've had my eyes on. I've been saying, yeah, I think these are a couple fighters we're going to see in the UFC at some point, and all of them are lined up to fight. Of course, one of them I didn't even ask for. I didn't even know about. I was telling y'all, like, who is this? Like, where's she come from? And that's respectfully asking y'all, like, who is this fighter? Like, out of all these fighters, I was like, this is the one that I was like, who is this? I don't know. And Alice Pieta, that's what I'm talking about. Like, number one, Alice Pieta, y'all saw her fight this past weekend against what's her name, Montserrat Rendon, and she came up short. I think the fight was a split decision loss, but in my opinion, it wasn't a split decision. I thought that it was a convincing loss. A lot of holes were exposed in the game. I mean, yeah, Alice Pieta, out of all four of these fighters, the most green of the fighters. I mean, she was 19 years old. No real like background that you could research on. Maybe, like I said, maybe she grew up scrapping like in the family or in the gyms and, just in school or whatever. Maybe they just seen her size and maybe she got bullied and girls wanted to test her and she got up in the gym and just started fighting that way. But I didn't really see like any amateur fights or any tournaments, no BJJ or no grappling background, no karate background, none of that stuff for Alice Pieta. So, me just doing the math, I was like, all right, y'all signed this young fighter. She's this green at 19. Even if you put her in there with the lesser competition, she's going to struggle and she's probably going to lose, and she did. Big girl, she's a big fighter. I think they listed her, 5'8". I mean, she looks like she's 5'10", really. Like, she looks like she's taller than Dakota. I think, what do they list Dakota as? What is Dakota, like 5'9"? And they list this girl at 5'8". I mean, she looks like she's 5'10" or 5'11". So she's a big bantamweight at 19. But number one, going in there, like her whole body language was just like a 19-year-old. She didn't really have like the confidence as far as like her stance, standing her ground against, a pressure fighter. She wasn't fighting tall. She was taking away her own reach. There's really no technique in her strikes. Like, I saw one little highlight video on YouTube of her striking, and a lot of her shots were just all over the place. A couple of them landed and, she did get a knockout, I believe. She hurt the girl. But even in this fight here, like when you're fighting a much polished striker, the technique goes a long way. I just was looking at her technique in that fight. She was looping these big, long shots when all she had to do was just throw a straight punch and she would have hit her target. So, yeah, the number one thing I take away from Alice Pieta is, she's just young, green, and she's still learning. And granted, like the bantamweight division is on the downside as far as star power, but a lot of these girls still got enough skill to beat her. Even the lesser girls at this point, even the girls that are out the door, like Amisha Tate, these girls like her, Nora Cornell, Jocelyn Edwards, all these girls at the bottom, Jocelyn Nunes, who ain't even ranked. I believe she's still there, right? Yeah, Jocelyn Nunes is somewhere around there, right? Jocelyn Nunes is still there. Yeah, Jocelyn Nunes, like, even her, like, because she stands her ground and she knows how to throw power punches. Like, she could wind up getting the win off of her. So it's a lot of work that needs to be done. And I think personally, like, Alice Pieta might have to take like 8 to 9 months off. They signed her and, she's here. So you just have to like put her through the work and the training camps that she needs to be put through to be able to stand with these girls. Like, I don't want to say to cut her right away. No, like, she signed. So, hey, this first loss could be a learning experience. So maybe this will wake something up in her. Maybe she'll get with the right people, the right specialists that can help her grow in whatever her strength is. Like, to me, I don't really know what her strength is. Like, should it just be called striking? Is that her main focus? Is Muay Thai her striking? Like, what are they listed as here? Let me see what they list her specialty as, like on Tapology, like they do sometimes. Hold on. Let me see. Alice Pieta. Yes, they list her about. Okay, yeah, they moved her height up now. They list her at 5'10" now. Yeah, 5'10" with a 71-inch reach. She fights out of Life MMA, Bahia, Brazil. Yeah, I don't know. Like, is her background like really listed as like a kickboxer? Muay Thai. Well, it can't be because I didn't really see any like Muay Thai experience from her. Like a lot of the things that she was doing was just, you know, like brawling style or just green. So I can't even list her as that. So maybe she just needs to get with somebody from, like a Tiger Muay Thai, or just get her a boxing coach like a Dewey Cooper or somebody Dean Thomas, that can help her get those hands right and those kicks right and help her learn how to utilize her reach and height, because if she was coming in as known as a striker, she wasn't a striker in there. So yeah, there's a lot of work that needs to be done with her, man. Like a lot of work that needs to be done with her. So before she comes back at any point, let me see, her last fight was September 13th. I don't think she needs to come back to the cage until like May of 2026. Am I right about that, or am I being mean? Is that too wrong? Is that too tough? Am I being too tough on her? Alice Pieta needs to come back sometime late spring next year. Because let's see, that's October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. 8 months. Yeah, there you go. I think she needs to stay away about a good 7-8 months and just train. Get her some UFC level training in before she comes back, because that last fight wasn't it. They tried to feed her the lesser of the bantamweights and it didn't work. It didn't work out. Again, I think they were just really going off of the. I think they were really just going off of the name, even though this isn't Alex's sister. They was like, all right, we got another Pieta here that we can promote. She's gonna be big. She's gonna be powerful. She's gonna knock everybody out. And then she winds up almost getting choked out. So if they want to do that, they're gonna have to let this girl work. So give her about 9 months. Don't come back till May or June of next year. That's just my opinion. All right, hey, what's up, Robot Chicken? Yo, Marcus Bell. All right, but yeah, the next fighter on this list is Michelle Montague, who fights next Saturday. Let me see, next Saturday, September 27th. And y'all heard me talk about her over here before. I've been mentioning her for a while. I'll call her the RNC queen. That's what it was. I was trying to think, like, was it armbar queen or is it rear naked choke queen? Yeah, she's the rear naked choke queen. All her finishes have come by rear naked choke, y'all. Michelle Montague is 6-0, 31 years old. Let me see, how big is she? Yeah, she's 5'9". She's a pretty big bantamweight. Long reach at 69, 70-inch reach. Yeah, she's from New Zealand. And, she trains at a American Top Team too. She's been a long time training partner with Kayla Harrison. So we'll kind of see how that goes. We'll kind of see how that goes as far as like them linking up. Do they still train together? Will they still train together or not? Because I know they had that link. Kayla Harrison, and Michelle, they've always been like big supporters of each other. So we'll see if they still maybe train in separate camps, or we'll see how they split that up. But yeah, Michelle Montague, I think, yeah, she's like one of the strongest on here when it comes to submission game and just powerful. She's really explosive too. Like I still need to see a little bit more with her striking, but like her last couple fights, man, I've seen, like she's like got that killer instinct, and that's what I like to see, those girls that go after it. Like it's not like she's just focused on one dimension. It's just she just goes after it. She sees it coming and she gets it. I think her last fight was almost a year ago though, so she's been out for about a year. Hopefully that layoff doesn't affect her. Yeah, let's see. She's been in the cage now professionally since 2022, and she's choked out everybody, man. Like rear naked choke. Let's see, rear naked choke. Yeah, let me just make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wins, all by rear naked choke finish. And I don't think she's gonna stop anytime soon. As soon as she gets into the cage here with her next opponent, like y'all know who her next opponent is, which should be pretty easy work for her. I would like to see a little bit tested more because the girl they got her lined up against isn't even a bantamweight. Her fight this Saturday is against Luana Carolina. All right. Yeah, Luana Carolina coming back up to 135. But Luana Carolina, she is a test for a lot of the flyweights that struggle with striking and stand-up game and aren't that strong. But this is actually a fight I can see Michelle Montague just blasting through, honestly. Like, I think she's got the power and the speed, not to get frustrated by Luana Carolina or even let Luana Carolina get in any type of rhythm. I think that Michelle's got, she's got the explosiveness, so it's a good way, to get in there and continue her win streak and, kind of promote this new rise of the bantamweight division. Like, yeah, she's definitely a fighter I think they need, though, Michelle Montague. I wish I could say that about Alice Pieta, though, man. Like, I was hoping she was going to come in there like a big giant and, maybe score a knockout, prove me wrong, and say, all right, we got a big, strong, technical striker coming through. But didn't work out that way. But hopefully it works out with Michelle Montague, which I think it will, man. I think she'll come in and, get a victory over Luana Carolina this weekend. Yeah, she's fought for Bellator a few times. Who else? Yeah, PFL mainly. That's where she's been most of the time is PFL. Where else? Yeah, that's pretty much it. So at least that's better experience than what Alice Pieta had. She did fight some girls that I've seen before. Some level of competition. All right, so yeah, I think Michelle. Yeah, I think she'll do pretty well. I think her skills and what I've seen her do. There's some girls I think she'll be able to go in there and I won't say walk through, but be able to outstrength and get them down. Gary said Michelle's a former featherweight. Yeah, she's a former featherweight before this because there's no bantamweight division in PFL and Bellator. Yeah, she's been fighting at featherweight. So just like Kayla, she's coming down to 135. Yep. Because all these other girls, all her other fights are at featherweight. So yeah, we'll see how the weight affects her too, if that plays a factor. Because she's in pretty good shape. She's in pretty good shape too. I don't think she's like a fighter that really blows up on her days off. But if she's a lot of muscle, it might be hard to lose. But we'll see. But she is a big fighter too. She's got good size on her. Who else we got? Let's see. Just signed the LFA bantamweight champion. And I saw this coming because everybody that wins the belt, they get it. Another undefeated fighter got Beatrice Mesquita, who is, former LFA bantamweight champion. She just won the belt. Say, when was it? About 2-3 months ago. I was telling y'all about that fight. I knew it was going to end in a finish. She fought Sierra Dinwoody. And I thought Sierra Dinwoody was going to come through and showcase a little bit of everything. But, man, like, Bia Mesquita, I mean, maybe she's stronger than I thought. Like, she walked through her. Let's see. Bia is 5-0. And how many finishes does she have? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Four finishes. One fight ended in a disqualification. So yeah, technically all her fights are finishes. They didn't go to distance, right? All her fights didn't go to distance. And she's got a bunch of rear naked chokes. Dang. Yeah, she's got like 3 rear naked chokes. One finish off of punches. Yeah, and that DQ. So yeah, Bia Mesquita, she's coming from the BJJ background. See, she's come from a long line of just like jiu-jitsu and a lot of grappling tournaments. She's like Mackenzie Dern or somebody that's just well known in that circuit. I mean, since 2010 or 11. Yeah, 2011 here. So yeah, she's got like a 15-year, maybe even longer grappling experience, right? And now she's ready to transition to MMA. So far from what I've seen with her MMA game, needs a little work. It definitely needs a little bit of work because I want to see like her stand-up defense get perfected a little bit more, even like her boxing. I think she's coming in similar to like Jacqueline Amram to me. Her jiu-jitsu is good. Her strike is not the best, but she's willing to use it, and her ground and pound is good. That's the thing about Jacqueline Amram. Like she'll fish for submissions, but she does have some ground and pound. Like she will start working those hammer fists on you. So I think Bia Mesquita kind of does the same thing. Do I think she'll like run into some bumps in the road and maybe lose a fight or two? She could, like, especially where I kind of see her stance. I could see maybe even like her or Michelle kind of falling into those moments in fights where they get a little lost on the feet. Well, mostly Bia, because I've seen her get rocked. I see her get rocked in like a fight last year. Yeah, okay, this girl right here, Chanel Butler, almost knocked Bia Mesquita out in like the first round. She came back and submitted her, but I mean, she did get rocked bad in that fight. So when I was watching that, I was like, all right, Bia's got to work on her boxing. So that's something I think she'll probably have to pick up on throughout, these lower ranked fights. They need to put her in there with some stand-up artists. But yeah, from what I've seen, she's got some heavy hands. She's got some good takedown defense, and she's strong, good top control. And that jiu-jitsu, her jiu-jitsu is really polished. I mean, look at some of these girls she submitted. Like on the grappling scene, let's see, she submitted Jennifer Maya last year. She submitted Misha Tate a little while back. I know this girl, Elizabeth Clay. She beat her. Julia Alves. I've seen her before. Oh, she lost. What's her name? Fionn Davies. Oh, she lost to her. Okay, she lost to her. Davies is a girl that submitted Mackenzie Dern recently. Oh man, yeah, she beat Jenna Bishop too. So yeah, like she's well known. She's well known in the grappling scene. So MMA fighters, when they step over there, they gotta be careful because these girls, they know their thing. So yeah, if she can transition her jiu-jitsu over to MMA style jiu-jitsu, I think she could be a problem. But that stand-up game has got to be improved. Her overall striking game has got to come full circle. All right. And then let me see. This girl right here, I'm a fan of. I was talking about her a little while back. Melissa Croden just recently got signed. Melissa Croden, she former LFA contender. She challenged for the belt. All right. Oh, hold on. Before that, who they match up Bia Mesquita against? Because Michelle is fighting Luana Carolina. Bia is fighting, the Russian Ronda in October. So October 11th, Irina Alexeyeva. This could be a tough fight for her, but I could see Bia submitting this girl because Russian Ronda, she gets a little reckless in there, man. She just don't really have like one solid skill set to me. So I think Bia might go in there and submit her. That fight's in a couple weeks. That fight's like 2 weeks after Michelle Montague's debut. So yeah, she debuts on October 11th. All right, this is a week before that UFC. Let me see that UFC Canada card. Okay. Oh man, and if Irina Alexeyeva loses that fight, she might get cut. Because the Russian Ronda lost 2 in a row, and if she loses to Bia, she'll probably get up out of there, man. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But I got Bia in that fight. I think Bia will win that one. All right. So yeah, last but not least, Melissa Croden. Like I said, she had challenged for the LFA title, lost it to Cavalcanti. And again, once y'all win that LFA title, y'all getting signed because Jacqueline Cavalcanti a couple years ago, she beat Melissa Croden, let me see, back in 2023 and won the belt and has been in the UFC since, right? But Croden has bounced back with 2 wins since then. She's 6-2 in her MMA career, 6-2, and all her wins are by finishes. She's and her losses are by decision. That just shows you how tough and strong and durable this girl is. Like, she's got some power to her. That's why I actually was picking. I think I did pick Melissa to win this fight against Jacqueline Cavalcanti, but then I was like, I don't know. But I said, I think I'm gonna stick with Melissa in this fight. But man, Cavalcanti's got some technique, man. She was like picking Croden apart and hit Croden with some hard shots. But Melissa Croden is tough, man. That girl's strong. And she was hitting Jacqueline Cavalcanti with some shots. So when I look at somebody like Melissa Croden, I see, the karate style. I see the karate style in her, but she's kind of evolving more. Like I see her kind of planting her feet a little bit more with her striking, and she's moving a little bit more careful. Like she's taking her time, but at the same time, she's using pressure. She knows how to back these girls up, and she's looking for finishes, on the feet or on the ground. So after that loss to Cavalcanti, I see her kind of mixing it up more, like whether she's boxing or using her size. And that's what I'm saying, man. Like girls are this big, they have to use their size. You got to use your size in there, man, because what you going to come in there big for if you ain't using it right, So, yeah, they got Melissa Croden lined up to fight Tainara Lisboa on the Canada card. So, yeah, I'll be able to call that fight. She's going to be fighting Tainara Lisboa October 18th, a week after Bia Mesquita's debut. So that is, that's on the card with Manon and Jasmine. Okay, so that's going to be a hot card right there. Who else is on that card? Let's see. All right, you got Melissa Croden and Tainara Lisboa, Stephanie Luciano and Ravina Oliveira. Dang, where's Oliveira been? Then you got Manon and Jasmine. Okay, so we got 3 WMMA fights on this card. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this Croden Lisboa card. I mean, Lisboa is more of a Muay Thai fighter, so that's definitely going to start on the feet. But I know Lisboa's had some knee issues. She came up short in her last fight, too, against she didn't come up short. She got submitted, right? Luana Santos submitted her. Wow. Wow, I forgot about that. I forgot. Dang. Yeah, she came in looking pretty solid, but I think that injury kind of, held her back because she was out for almost 2 years. Tainara Lisboa was out almost 2 years. So this should be a winnable fight for Melissa Croden when it comes down to like stand-up game and just overall power and size. Because I think that Croden's got the power like to hurt some of these girls. And she can take a punch too. Not some, I don't want girls harping on or any fighter, but hey, yeah, I think that Croden could be some problems in here. She could get a finish. So yeah, this could be a good statement maker for her. So yeah, these are just some of the fighters I've been looking at, even before they got signed. And they're all coming up pretty much back to back. Pieta was last weekend. Montague was this weekend. Bia Mesquita is October 11th. And then October 18th is Croden. So yeah, over the past like month, these fights have been kind of spread out here. They got these bantamweight girls just spread out across the board just to kind of let them showcase their skills and I think try to bring some new blood in. But that's good, man. Like everybody on here outside, again, I ain't picking on Alice, man. I'm not picking on Alice, but I just think Alice, she needs work. That's all. Like it's the UFC's fault for not doing the research here, right? It's not her fault. It's their fault for just grabbing her because if you throw a 19-year-old a UFC contract, are they gonna really say no? Are they gonna say no to that? So it's not her fault, but I think out of the 3 on here, you got some good fighters that's going to help build up the bantamweight division, in my opinion. Gary said is Croden Canadian. Yeah, she's Canadian. Yep, that's why they went on and put her on this card. To be said, yeah, Gary said Irina got popped too, right? Yeah, she got popped. Yeah, she was out for like over a year. Yep, came back and lost. Now she's about to fight another tough fight. Yeah, to be said, who's the girl second from the right had to step out. Oh, that's Beatrice Mesquita. Yeah. But yeah, I think that out of all 4 of them, let me see. Let me see. I think pretty much all 3 of them are going to win their fights respectively coming up. I do. I'm not just saying that because I'm a fan of a couple of them or whatever, but I think that, of course, it all comes down to who they match them up against. But I think also because of their work ethic and skill too, man. Like Croden to me could have probably been in the UFC like a year or so ago. When you compare to some of the other girls they signed, that's just across all divisions. Not Melissa, but Michelle as well. Like if they had a featherweight division, I think you could have then put her in there somewhere. Matter of fact, I might pull up a couple of her fights tonight. I mean, they're so fast, I could watch them all at once. All in less than an hour, just to kind of see again like some of her strengths and weaknesses. But yeah, I think out of the four of them, to me, I think. Well, I think three of them. I think all three of them could get the top 15. So I'm gonna make it a little bit steeper. Let me see. Who do I think gets the top 10 first? Man, I think it comes down to Michelle and Melissa when it comes down to deciding who gets in the top 10. That's what I think. I think yeah. Like, who do y'all think gets the top 10 first out of these fighters? Because I think all three of them, again, minus Alice, I think Melissa, Michelle, and Beatrice will probably get the top 15 sometime next year. Because they're probably going to break through there. There's a lot of girls that I think their skills are going to overpower some of the older girls at this point. Even if they match somebody up like Melissa against Miesha Tate. I think Melissa can beat Miesha Tate at some point now. Michelle, I think she could beat Miesha Tate or Lesnikova or even Nora Cornell, So I think they all three, get in the top 15. But as far as top 10, let me see. Michelle's pretty good, though. She is pretty solid. Like, she is a solid finisher. I just haven't seen how she adjusts to anything outside of, like around. Has she been outside of round 2 or 3? Not really. Like she's finished a lot of her fights. Well, I've seen Croden go the distance, even in the championship fight with Cavalcanti, LFA, she's gone 5 rounds. She's been knocked down before too. And I've seen her have to make improvements. So I don't know, man. I think Miss Croden might make top 10. I think she'll get the top 10. It'll be like between them two. That's just my opinion, though. Yeah. Let me go back up here. Let me see. Okay. Just going back up here. I missed something. Gary Baldwin said he thinks Michelle Montague, Croden, and Bia is ranked skill-wise. Okay, that's how you rank them skill. Yeah, I would kind of rank them there. I think I would rank Croden a little higher just because I think I've seen her do a little bit more and have to overcome a little bit more. But dang, yeah, Michelle Montague, I think, the way she's been finishing, man, that makes her exciting, and that makes her even have that like potential it factor to take over the division, So yeah. What's up, Robot? Robot said, how many more fights should Tatiana take before a title shot? I think Tatiana should probably take about, let me see, she won this fight, right? I would say 2 more. She got to get on the finishing track. I'm not trying to be tough, but at least, all right, I'm going to be lenient. Look, at least one of those 3 fights that she needs. All right. Lemos has already won them, knocked out, right? So she's only got 2 more. One of these next fights that she has to take has to be a finish. Okay, I'm just saying. I got to see a shade of old Tatiana in there. Okay, it's got to be a straight 30-20. No 30-20. It's got to be a finish. All right, I got to set a standard now. Okay, I ain't trying to be mean. I'm just setting a standard. All right, because I want to see a fighter look better and do well, man. So yeah, for Tatiana, I think she needs at least 3 wins before she get a title shot again. And one of them has got to be a dominant finish, man, because I need to see Tatiana look like the old Tatiana again. I got to see Tatiana back. To be said, who do you got on Dana White's Contender Series this week? Let me check and see first. Hold on. Dana White. Who's lined up to fight? Dana White's Contender Series. Is this week 6? Wait a minute. Week 6. No, this is week 7. Yeah, okay, hold on. Let me check real quick. Dana White's Contender Series. Oh, Sofia Montenegro and Jesla Chavez. Ooh, that's an interesting fight. Sofia is 6-1 and Chavez is 5-0. I'll get back to you on that one, 2Bs. I got to go back and watch some of their fights. Are there fights on YouTube? Please tell me their fights are on YouTube because I got to go back and watch some of these. Let me see. Sofia Montenegro. Oh, dang. Michelle Montague. I was just pulling up her fights. About all her fights are on here, too. Okay, let me see. Sofia. Ooh, there are some Sofia fights up here. Fusion FC. Let me see. I got 2. Okay, I got 2 Sofia fights I can watch. Oh, I got 3. Ooh. Oh, I got 4. Might have her whole career up here. All right, that's a starting point. That's a starting point. I got about 4 to watch. Okay. Let me check out Jesla Chavez. Let's see what I got. Jesla. What we got? Let me see. Okay, we got 1. All right. And I think that's it. Hold on. Let me see. That might be it. The Chavez girl's strength of schedule is weaker than the others. What, her resume's weak, you mean? Yeah, I see a lot of fights on old girl though. So Sophie, I can see what she's working with. Usually, if you can't find that resume, sometimes these underground fights are kind of hard to find. So usually tell you it's on like a real regional scene that doesn't really have much competition. All right, she's fought Muay Thai, but you never know. You never know because 6-1 and 5-0, they're pretty neck and neck. As far as like what they're bringing to the table. I mean, when you look at the resume check here, Sophia has fought a lot of girls that have been 1-0, 0-8, 2-2, 0-1, 1-2, 4-4. But she's got some finishes. She's got some finishes too. This should be a good flyweight fight, though. Honestly, when I look at their resume, they might be ready for it. Well, their resume is kind of similar, I think. Yeah, they both got she's got a 0-4, 0-0, 0-2, 0-2. She ain't fought anybody with a win. Jesla Chavez hadn't fought anybody with a win. Dang, she fought somebody 0-4, 0-0, 0-0, 0-2, 0-2. She ain't fought nobody with a winning resume or with a win. She ain't fought nobody with a win. I'm nervous now. So with that being said, this Contender Series fight might be a learning experience, but for her sake, I don't know, man. Like if Chavez wins, she gonna be thrown into a pool of piranhas because she'll fight her first fighter with 6 wins. But when you get into the UFC, ooh, man, I don't know about that because Yeah, she in trouble. She's in trouble if she wins as well, because you might beat this girl, but you coming into the UFC. That's what I'm saying. Hey, Shay Bowers, go ahead and sign Shay Bowers, man. Go ahead. Look, I'm gonna go ahead and say this. Look, sign Shay. Go ahead and sign Shay Bowers to the flyweight division. I think she's ready to go, man. She is ready. She's ready. Shay Bowers is ready to go. That girl ready to she's ready for the UFC, I think. Like, if y'all want to know who's ready, I can tell you. If I seen these two girls right here, I would be looking at these resumes. And if I seen this girl right here, 5-0, and it's like hiring. It's like a hiring process. You know what I mean? It's like a hiring process. If I was sitting here doing a resume check, I'm gonna say, "Oh, okay, you got 5 wins. Oh, okay, you 2 ground and pounds, a TKO. All right, let's see who you beat. Okay, I don't know this name. All right, 0-4. I don't know this name. 0-0. This one too. 0-0. 0-2. 0-2. I would just pull out my calculator and start adding up. Then I'll be like, now might not be a good time. And that's not to be mean. It's just to say, look, I'm trying to help you out here, because this job the job that lies ahead might not be for you yet. And some people might say, oh, that's harsh, or you can't judge from the couch, or call you a couch critic. Oh, no, I've seen it many times. We've seen it many times, right? It ain't got nothing to do with hating the fighter or disrespecting. It's the truth, right? And the truth, it does hurt. It does hurt. I mean, it's real. And I'm a fan of the truth. That's all I gotta say, man. And that's all I do. I'm just watching fights, and then if somebody asks me, it's just like the fight this past weekend, with Canelo and Bud Crawford. Like, if a person asks me, I'm like, oh yeah, I know why he lost. Like, Canelo can't box like Bud Crawford. And you might get mad, but I'm just telling you the truth. Like, watch the fight. He lost 10 rounds, So if you ask me why, let me see. What's a recent fight? My mind is, I'm just trying to pick a good example where people get mad. Like, oh yeah. Even like the Suarez, like Whaley and Suarez. Like, I gave Suarez a chance to win. Like, people get mad at you for giving that fighter a chance to win. I'm like, this is just what I've seen in the past, right? I'm not saying Whaley's gonna, not show up, right? Or she doesn't have a chance. That's just being real. So when I look at a fighter like this, just being truthful, I see Chavez's record. I'm like, yeah, if she wins this fight, okay, good on her. But if she gets a contract, man, she's got a long road ahead of her. And it might wake something up in her. I don't know. I'm just saying, though. Because, hey, Petrovic, y'all know who I'm talking about. If you watch WMMA, you know I'm talking about. I didn't think she was ready to get signed. And it was proof. She's gone now. I think she had a lot of potential, too. Like, had they not signed her yet and they just let her grow as a fighter, I think she probably, could have got signed this year or next year. Because she was pretty good on the ground. Like, she's got a number of submission wins. But as soon as she fought Luana Carolina, man, she did get exposed in that fight big time. I don't think Michelle Monte will fall in that same trap, because I think she's bigger and stronger. And this is, closer to her weight class. And Luana Carolina is not really a bantamweight, so yeah. Marcus said Chavez's original opponent was Regina Taryn. Oh, okay. Gary said sign Aiza Bertolso. Oh yeah, she can be assigned now. She's got a pretty good resume. She's been yeah, she's lost one fight in the amateurs and undefeated in the professionals. But still, that's like, what, 20-something fights she's won. And she kind of reminds me, like, she's more like a Marina Rodriguez with a ground game. She's long, she's strong. She's got got the ability to submit. Excuse me. Yeah, I think that Aiza is ready for the strawweight division. I think she's a little bit more ready than Chanel Dyer is, honestly. Like, I'm not picking again. I'm just saying that's what I think. I just think that Aiza Bertoso is ready, a little bit more ready than she is. What happened with Regina Taryn anyway, man? Like, why did she have to pull out? Was she injured? Regina Taryn, she's 6-0. She was the young Combate girl. I saw. Yeah, I think I do a video on one of her fights. Yeah, she beat Caitlin Neal. Her last fight was Caitlin Neal. She stopped her. Yeah, because she's a flyweight. I think they're trying to sign. But hey, same thing with her. That girl's only 20 years old. Give Regina Taryn a chance to grow. I'm glad she. You know what? Marks? I'm glad Regina Taryn didn't get that Contender Series fight because she's too young too. She's what, 5? What I say, 6-0. She's 20 years old, 6-0. Doesn't really have like a big name on her resume yet either. Like as far as like LFA fights. So yeah, I wouldn't want to see her. Wouldn't want to see her go in there and mess herself up either. In her amateur record, she's 0-1. I see she lost her only amateur fight, then went pro. So yeah, I think she could wait too. Chavez original, yeah, okay. 2B said, yeah, when your opponent's combined record is 0-8, that's very bad. Yeah, it is, man. Like, you got to have somebody with some winning records, man, like on there. Even if it's somebody that's like 7-8, 4-5, 5-4. Gary said, I saw one fight from Jesla Chavez, and it was her most recent fight. She wasn't that impressive. Oh, okay. Let me see if I can find one. Did I even find one? Give me a second here. Chavez. Oh yeah, there it is. I see one from 3 years ago. Yeah, I see a fight up here from like 3 years ago. I mean, that's not much to go on. That's all I can find. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think that it'll be a learning experience for her. We'll see where it goes from there. All right, and last thing I wanted to talk about. Is I see a lot of people on IG talking about this, man. Ronda Rousey back on the mitts. And look, I ain't gonna be long on this one, look, because I don't think it's gonna really lead up to anything. I just want to tell people this, but Ronda Rousey was back in the gym hitting some mitts, and she put a little message up and was just like, it's been 8 years since the fight game, something like that, and about 8 years, since she even hit the mitts or anything or done any type of drill work like this. And she said she was starting to find the love for it again. And I see a lot of people running with it. And I also heard her say that she would never rule out, not coming back. She never rule out a comeback, but she would never fight in the White House, which, hey, I have no problem with that. I don't think she should come back, period. But yeah, those are some of the things that she was throwing out there. But yeah, like I was seeing from, her just, going back to work and doing this. I think that's what it should just be, just let it be some training, just keep it in the gym, just do it to stay in shape and just do what you got to do as far as, just being a role model for your kids and maybe for some other fighters. But at this point of, Ronda's career, she just doesn't seem like somebody that has a love for the sport. And just a lot of the things that she had talked about leading up to even her Holly Holm fight and after, about fighting with a concussion and suffering these concussions and things like that, being concussed and, just so many other things that went wrong, kind of make it sound like she might not be physically fit to even perform at this point, So, to me, I don't really think it's something that, she could just jump right back into and just fall back into like she never missed a beat. Not like with some boxers. Some boxers, they live for the sport, but I don't think Ronda really lived for the sport throughout a lot of her years. Like she was just there to kind of do it and collect a paycheck after a while, and still like set some bars. But I think with the way MMA has been evolving, she's never really had to like dig too deep like some of these other girls now and have to learn so much. That's why, like she struggled the way she did with her hands and her stand-up game. It's just never really been that type of level of what's the word I'm looking for when it comes to like that era of MMA. I mean, because all fighters have to train, but when it comes to like the way mixed martial arts has been evolving, fighters, they don't just come with one specialty anymore. A lot of the men used to, they would come with just karate, BJJ, even back in like the mid 90s. But as years went on, fighters started doing different things. But in WMMA for a long period, Ronda could run through a lot of these girls. She could run through a lot of girls, with the old judo toss, and that's it, and just depend on that. But as years been going, like girls have been evolving. So many girls have been evolving, and I don't think she could just come back in and even fall in and take on the lesser girl of the UFC. Even the lesser girls of UFC would give her a problem. That's just how I think about it. But I mean, if you look at Tatiana Suarez, man, Tatiana, like she's still active as a fighter, but that long period of time off from 2019, like a good 6 years almost, 2019, 4 or 5 years, she's felt like that thunder, man, like from these other girls, and just felt that strength and difference throughout her fights. So imagine for somebody like Ronda, who's never hit the mitts or even like trained since her last fight against Amanda Nunes, and just stayed completely away and went to the WWE and just stayed in that mindset, tried to come back now against a lot of young, hungry, much more advanced fighters. She would struggle. It's not like boxing where you just focusing on one thing, you can come right back and jump right back into the mix. Because you could take, like I said, in boxing, you could take on the lesser guy. If you got the better skills, you could win. But sometimes you come up short, but the odds are more in your favor in boxing because it's just one discipline. But these girls now got more discipline. So, Ronda could wind up getting hurt in there. So that's just my take. But I think she just posted it just to kind of, get some attention and just show people that, she's kind of back out there again just to kind of promote herself. But I don't think it'll really amount to anything, and it shouldn't. It really shouldn't at this point, because I'm not, counting on a comeback from her. I really don't want to see her come back, because no matter how many wins she gets in a row, let's say she puts together a win streak, I don't think she'll ever get a win over somebody like Amanda Nunes. I think even at this point, like a Juliana Pena would beat her. Juliana Pena would beat her. Norma Dumont would beat her at this point, because that aura is gone too. That aura is gone. After a while, once so many fighters have cracked it and seen it, and again, they've been measuring up to these higher standards now, they're just built different. A lot of these girls are just built different now, and they won't fall to that old same thing. And they're not supposed to, because the game changes, right? So yeah, I just saw that little post and I was like, oh boy, I know people are gonna start thinking she's coming back, or people gonna get mad. Like, I'm not mad that she posted. I'm just like, okay, like, she's just trying to get fit. She want to stay in shape. And maybe one of the things she needs to do is train somebody. I don't know if she's like the training type. Like, well, you go back to the Tough House. Misha was a much better trainer than Ronda, wasn't she? I mean, Ronda did win that money for him, but I don't know. Was it, or am I thinking Pena and Nunes? Now, Pena was a better trainer. I got to go back and like take a few glances at that Tate and Ronda Tough House again, because that one's been forever. That was like over a decade. Like, what do y'all think? If y'all can remember, was Misha Tate a better trainer than Ronda? I can't remember. I know Pena was. Pena was a better trainer than Nunes. I know that. I know that for sure. Robot said that's too far back for me. Yeah, yeah, that was a while back, man. And I remember seeing shades of Misha, seeing like she was a little bit more personal and she helped her fighters develop. Who else? I thought Claudia Gadelha was a better trainer than Joanna was too. Yeah, because sometimes I don't know, some of those fighters, the champions just tend to be more of a me mindset, I guess. I guess that's just how it is, though. Ernest said Rousey still can't accept defeat. Ernest said, "Who's that trainer with Ronda?" I don't know. I have to go back and look. I didn't really like get a glimpse of his face. BJ said Misha was better, but Ronda was a good trainer. Misha was better, but Ronda was a good trainer. Oh, okay. Yeah, I got to go back and look. Like, maybe I'm just kind of measuring different, but yeah, I have to go back and see. She was a good trainer. All right. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, to be said, WWE took a toll on her too. Yeah, I bet you it did, man. That showbiz, it probably took more of a toll on her than the UFC or even like MMA, because I'm sure that wrestling is taxing on your body. And then, that entertainment business that she was in too, that entertainment side, it was probably like really taxing on her mentally, especially for somebody like her that, sometimes just seem to not crumble under pressure, but is used to having things go her way. But I got to give her credit. She's been around for a while and she stayed tough through a lot of things. I mean, you know, I'm not one to like bash her as a fighter, just put her down. I mean, I think her days are done as a fighter. Like, I really don't want to see her come back. She's 38 years old. So, I mean, just add that up, man. 38 years old, away from the sport, and never hit the mitts and never really rolled anymore or trained. I don't think you'll ever reach that potential like you did before. Again, you up against a lot of girls that have improved, evolved, and are still active. So it just won't work. All right. So Robot said, I love Ronda. She's one of the GOATs. Yeah, a lot of people do. My sister likes Ronda Rousey too. She thinks that she was one of the reasons that she put MMA on the map. And she did, for women, of course. Like, if the Ronda fights come on, I'll watch them. They're nice and quick. They're entertaining, So it's not a bad it's not a bad thing, like that Ronda Rousey ruled WMMA at one point. So, but it'll never happen again, and that's just how it goes. Mike Tyson, his era was his era was his era. Muhammad Ali, his era was his era. John Jones, Silva, uh, GSP, all these champions, they had their era, but it ends at some point. You can't come back and say I can recapture it like that. Not when somebody else is in there. But yeah. On that note, let me wrap this thing up. BJ had texted me earlier a link. Are you still driving, BJ? Did you need a link? Did you need to say anything? Did you need to get anything off your chest? I'll open the line up for you, BJ, if you got something to say. Now, if you're driving, I can't give you a link because I don't want to be responsible for anything that happened. Like, if you want a link, that's the thing with me. Look, if you want a link on my show, you better be pulled over in a parking lot. Like, you can't do it like me. I mean, I can do it both. I mean, I'm not bragging. I'm able to do that, but I don't give out no link while somebody driving. So if you're just listening, let me know. To be said, I got another one. Who's in your on drive list? Fighters that are a must see for you due to the violence. Ooh, that's a good one. Violence. Let me write that one down. Give me 1 second. That's an interesting take right there. If I do a video on ground and pound, I think I said, yeah, you said jab and must see for violence. Basically must see TV. And it can't be Andrade, right? You can't put Andrade on that list. Let me see though. Like off top for like violent fights, who's had some pretty violent fights recently? Like who comes out messed up? Carol Foro, yeah, she's had a. I gotta go back and look at some of her fights though. Like that first fight, that first showing in the contender series, that was a good fight. I think I would put Carly Giudice in there. I think I would have to put Carly Giudice in there. Yeah, I think she would have to be in that list. Carly Giudice from some of her fights, they're pretty violent, and she's coming to take your head off. Ardeleon. Let me see. How about Puja Tomar, right? Anybody gonna put Puja Tomar in there? Let me see. No, can't put Andrade in the list. Crispy, yeah, Crispy. She goes, yeah, Crispy goes for the kill. Her fights are pretty violent for as long as they last. Who else? Robot said Klein. Klein is a pretty violent type of fighter. Yeah. Mackenzie Dern is too, because that Andrade fight was violent. And, she was part of the reason it was so violent. I mean, good gravy, man. Like, Andrade gave Mackenzie Dern whiplash in there a few times. Literally, like, I mean, you see her, like, she's about to snap her neck off with a couple of her punches. I don't think I have that up here, but no, I don't have it up here anymore. Amanda Ebos. Barber, yeah, Barber sometimes, yeah, sometimes, because that Ebos fight was kind of like that was a collaborative effort. That was definitely a collaborative effort for me. Yeah, nah, yeah. Oh, you got to put Mackenzie still. Like, if we ain't talking UFC, you got to put Mac Judo up there. You got to put this girl right here up there. You got to put Mac Judo up there. I mean, we ain't even just talking punches. We talking about somebody that's trying to pop your head off and pop your arm off and take it home. So yeah, violent girls. Yeah, we gonna talk probably her, and I think Michelle Montague is another one too. All them girls she done choked out and put to sleep too, man. So yeah, those are some violent fighters. Mac Judo at some point should get signed to the UFC strawweight division. But yeah, y'all. On that note, yeah, Aaron's a must see type of fighter. I don't think people get that vibe though enough from Aaron. Like, I think Aaron is. I'm trying to think of somebody that's just like open and shut, where everybody has to agree down the line. Like Andrade is that fighter. I think she's definitely like, the Andrade list. It has to really live up to that name, like where it leaves no room for any questions, like as far as will a knockout come. BJ said Aaron is must see TV. I think she is, but I don't really think people get that vibe fully. Like, I think when people hear Andrade's name, they're like, "Uh-oh," it's just like a different vibe. It's a different vibe. Like, you hear Andrade, somebody's getting knocked out, or they're knocking somebody out, you know? So I don't know, man. Like me, like I said, personally, my list, I would definitely say Aaron is must see. When I say Aaron, some people will still make an argument. But when you say Andrade, they'd be like, uh-oh, somebody's getting knocked out. I mean, whether it's the Rose fight, the Mackenzie Dern fight, the Lamos fight, you know what I mean? There was pretty good fights, though, with like Aaron, of course. Aaron, I mean, let me see, who all did Aaron finish, though? Aaron finished Andrade. Yeah, okay. She finished Molly McCann. She finished JJ Aldridge. She had good performances, against like Tyler Santos and Rose, but I think she's a good fighter, entertaining fighter. But when you're talking must see TV, like barbaric style, that's something you really have to say, okay, let me think now. Who is somebody that we know they're trying to take somebody's scalp? The scalp takers. Who is trying to take somebody's scalp? Let me see. Robot said it's Tatiana must see. I think Tatiana was. I think she was must see. I think there was a time when she was must see. BJ said no, Valentina is not like must see TV. I don't think Valentina is like must see. Lemos, she could have been. Jan is not must see either like that. Like, no. Verna, let me see. Must see TV. No, I think of course Valentina is, a great fighter. I want to watch it, but you got to think of the standard we're talking about here. We're talking about the violent side like that. Look at the example again, Marcus, he brought up too. Mackenzie Stiller. Tiago said, what's must see? Oh, must see TV is like when it's a fighter that you have to see because they're going to bring like violence, Tiago, or they're going to bring like an entertaining style. It's going to be a war, basically. They're about to bring that war. Like you have to come and see the fight. You have to see that fight because they're going to either knock that person out or they're going to get knocked out. Something's going to happen. Somebody's getting finished. Like it's like you got to see it. Everybody pretty much agrees on it across the board. Like we have got to see this person. Robot said, if we are talking only violence, then you're right. Dakota. Yeah, Dakota's must see TV. I mean, hey, the last fight companion speaks for itself. You know what I mean? Like she's must see. She's must see. Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like when you do a companion, Valentina or Dakota, everybody comes to see Dakota, right? She's must see. G-Rob must see. I think G-Rob could be considered that. Like you come in to get finishes. Like I would say she's more on the verge of being must see if she picks it up again with like how she's finishing girls more over like I said, like a technician like Valentina, Must see TV, right? Is like Zombie Girl versus Andrade. Yeah. That is must see TV. I don't know, man. I think I would kind of put Joanna as must see because her style was exciting. Like she wasn't finishing a lot of girls, but she was like beating girl. I think Joanna is more must see than Valentina. Yeah, because Joanna's had some wars, man. I think I'm gonna put Joanna in that must see category. Joanna versus Andrade. I mean, what she did to Jessica Panay, her second fight with Rose, her first fight with Wei Lee, um, the Carla Esparza fight, how she just comes in there, she's fighting like with that attitude and that pressure. Denise Gomes, she could be. I wouldn't put her in there. I don't think she's knocked out enough people though. I don't think she's lived up to it enough, Robot, if that makes sense. Like when I look at Joanna's resume, there's a lot of fights where you could say, okay, you got to watch this girl. Again, like her, yeah. Tiago said Carla was brutal. Yeah, that was brutal. Yeah. B just said definitely must see for sure. Alone her style against any girl is just must see TV. I mean, like I would definitely tell somebody getting into WMMA to check her out. Like if you want entertaining, of course Valentina's a better fighter than her, but I would say choosing between the two, if you just want to see entertainment, I'd say, hey, go watch Joanna fight. Go watch Joanna and Rose in the second fight, or go watch her and Wei Lee fight, or the Carla fight, or something like that, because there was always an attitude about her fights and a lot of crazy pressure. Marcus said Jocelyn Edwards is on her way. I mean, shoot, how many people did she finish? She finished like what, 3 people in a row? Yeah, Denise Gomes, I need to see a few more. Like she knocked out Bruna Brazil. Oh snap! And she did knock out Haurigi, right? No. That was Ketlin Souza. Nah, I can't give her credit for that one. Sorry, Denise. Yeah, Denise Gomes. I would say, like, I would think Marina Rodriguez could have been must see TV, but I think a lack of certain weapons kind of prevented her from that. Takedown defense for one, and not that attitude with the jab. Oh snap! They both knocked her out. Dang, 2B oh wow, dang. No, yeah. Because Ketlin Souza knocked her down and choked her out, but Denise Gomes did knock her out though. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Marina did have main events. Yeah, I would say Marina's exciting. Yeah. I ain't gonna be too. Yeah, Marina's must see. I mean, she did knock out Ebos, and she is like a hard puncher too. I think I would put her there. Wei Lee's must see TV now. Like style wise versus her again, like a champion, like a Rose. Like Rose is a good fighter, no doubt. Like who to be better, but must see style wise, people would tune in. They say I got to watch this girl. Yeah, Marina did have some. Yeah, man, Gomez did knock her out. I forgot about. Yeah, man, she cleaned. Oh wow, she put her out. I think it was like 20 seconds. We just said Marina who Moreau. Shoot, you remember Marina Moreau, but you don't remember Marina Rodriguez? Shoot, you remember the girl that just got popped, but you don't remember Marina Rodriguez, the girl that whooped Mackenzie Dern. I mean, took her to school on the feet. You don't remember that girl? Don't bring up Marina Moreau now. The girl just got popped. You know who we talking about? Angela Hill must see. Angela Hill must see. Angela is. I don't know, man. I don't know about Angela Hill. Angela Hill do put on some good fights though. She do put on some good fights, but I don't know. Yeah, Stan Fairtex is an entertaining fighter. She's entertaining. Angela Magana. I don't even think anybody remember Angela. Y'all remember Angela Magana? Of course I do. But I mean, Angela Magana was must see because everybody was like, I must see her get her butt whooped. That was all people wanted to see. Angela was must see because Angela Magana was must see because everybody was like, I must see her get her butt whooped. And that was, including the fighters. Chris Cyborg. Wasn't it Chris Cyborg that, slapped her up a little bit? Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, like, that was crazy. I mean, even if selfishly I can put in Silva there because there would be too much argument against her being exciting. Yeah, to me, Silva's fun to watch, but no. I think people would still try to make that argument. Where is that man Denise Gomes fight? I just shoot. If she added a few more knockouts on there on her list, she could have been on her way to straight must see. Ooh, let me see this. It's got to play music. Let me see this knockout. Dang. Ooh, two hard right hands. She is. I don't know how Ricky thought she could like come in. Oh my goodness, she could come in as a puncher. Okay, I'm back. All right, so let's see. Denise Gomes and Fatima Klein. Yeah, that would be an interesting fight. That would be an interesting fight. Klein has got the big test ahead of her. She's taking on Angela Hill. So we'll see how she looks in this fight. Yeah, but yeah, I think there's been a number of fighters throughout the year. I was just like, man, like to get people into the sport of just MMA period, I'd be like, hey, y'all got to watch this person. You got to tune into this person. You know. Two contenders right now from the UFC. Oh, Psycho and Carol Ferrero. Yeah, I gotta watch a few more Carol's fights, man. Like, I know I watched a few of them. I watched a few of her fights. I would say, yeah, definitely. I would say Palostri. I would give Palostri more of the stamp because yeah, she's entertaining. I gotta see a few more Foro's fights though. Again, like to really get me into her groove. Yeah, Wayne Kong did kind of drop the ball. I mean, Wayne Kong can still fight though. Wayne Kong can still pick it up though. Because if you put Wayne Kong and Crispy in the same cage, that's must see TV. I tell you that's a fight I got to see at some point. Wayne Kong versus Crispy. Somebody's getting knocked out in this fight. Wayne Kong versus Crispy Judici. That's a good fight right there. Tiago said he wanted to see Fatima Klein versus Wayne Kong. Fatima would have to move up. She would have to move back up to 125. Yeah, that's matchmaking Monday for tomorrow then. Paul said, have you talked about Loma versus Steinera yet? No, I haven't. I might talk about it on Wednesday. So I'm about to get off of here in a little bit. Show's about to wrap up. But that's a big test for that is a big test for Steinera. Her second fight coming in after finishing let me see. After Steinera finished Molly McCann, Loma's a big test. Loma's ranked now too, so this fight puts Steinera in a good position. she's about to fight a ranked opponent, and off of 2 wins in the UFC, I mean, she could get in here and be ranked just like that. So, this is a good test for her. I think that really, I think Loma Labuni, though, she's come far from. I think people underestimate her. She's come far from what we've seen her bring, like in the past couple of years. I think her hands are getting a little bit better. She's always dependent on those fierce body kicks, but I think that her body kicks are, key to what opens up those combinations up top. But going into a fight with Thainera, she got to be careful because Thainera got the ground game and she's strong. She's physically strong from what I've seen, and she likes to take it to the ground. She's got to, from what I've seen in her fights, like she's got a good, top control and some decent hands on the ground too. So I'm gonna go back and look at a couple fights, recent fights from Loma though, and just really key in on this one because we got some new strawweights coming up here because Loma's been around a long time, but I don't think they're ever going to do a atomweight division. So she's got to start really growing into this division, not just size wise, but skill wise. Because I mean, she can't get any taller, right? But she can still like tackle on her strength, build up, increase her strength, and increase her skill set. So Thainera's got an exciting style too. She's got an exciting style. She does a little bit of everything. So I don't think she'll be like this fighter that gets overwhelmed in there. I think it all come down to who gets going too, man. Jocelyn, what was that? Estela Nunes was against Loma. She was losing Saturday. Oh yeah. So on that, man. I'm about to jump off here, y'all. But make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Shout out to everybody in the chat. It's gonna be a good fight weekend here too, because I want to tune into this Michelle Montague scrap. It's gonna be something, I think she's gonna come in there and try to show out on Luana Carolina, but Luana doesn't really have that type of power either, so I don't think it's gonna be like this big counter punching type of fight for her. She just has to be careful in that fight and don't look one dimensional, But Jillian versus Lucindo should be a good fight too. Like, I know I wanted to see the Yan fight, but I think Jillian versus Lucindo is going to turn out to be a better fight than we think. And like I said, man, right now on paper and on experience level, I'm looking at Lucindo here. Not just trying to go against BJ and, get him riled up. Because I know I like what Jillian Robertson is doing right now, but when I look at Lucindo, man, I think Lucindo's coming in with some good experience. I know Jillian beat Marina Rodriguez a lot more convincing, but this girl right here is tough too, man. This girl is tough. Lucindo she's a little powerhouse too. She learned how to fight at a young age. Paul said, really? Yeah, I don't know. I think Lucindo got a good chance here, man. To be said, by the end of the year, we'll have a lot of answers to some important questions. Yeah, especially at the top 5 of the flyweight division. After this fight in November, we're going to see if Weili, if her strength carries up. We'll see if Natalya still has a title shot lined up for Valentina. We'll even see if Manon is learned from her title fight. So many questions, It's a lot going on. But on that note, lucky Lucindo. Yeah. On that note, y'all, let me get up off of here now. Hit that like and subscribe. I'm out. Peace.